Please state so.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, just a moment. So apparently, I'm using my mobile phone for the camera. For some reason, the camera on the computer isn't working. So I'm going to share on the computer, and then I'll use my tablet for notes. So I just need to apologize for that. Uh, it's telling me I don't have network, and I have network. It's weird. Hi. So just like a little background of who I am, just to emphasize on a few points and subsequently. So I started my entrepreneurial journey and software journey when I was actually 13, and I got more serious in it when I was 15. So for me, it really was more centered around I got my heart broken, right? And I needed to focus on something. And then programming was like one of those key things that allowed me focus on something. And because I mean, like for those of you that are programmers, would you understand that for you to build something, you need to focus for like hours. So I mean, I can't be crying that oh, this get don't break my heart when I can literally focus on something and build on it. So to me, that's how I actually came into programming. And then also, like, I always wanted, like, for me, I always wanted to be an astronaut, and I didn't want to do anything that has to do programming. Two things: I wanted to make money, and I also wanted to be an astronaut. But then we found out that in Nigeria, we don't actually support, we don't have any space program. So that was like really devastating. Then I said, okay, fine. What's the closest to space? That was to be a pilot. And then my parents said, they will not sponsor me to become a pilot. I think then it was around 7 million of then money. I have no idea how much that costs now. But funny enough, I can actually become a pilot now if I want to. I think I would do that. So then I built amazing solutions and softwares for a lot of companies and a lot of government. I've worked with Kaduna State governments here in Nigeria. The last card invest for last year, I was the person that actually built the whole infrastructure and everything. Then taking it a bit further, we've worked with NDA. We did drone technology for the Cardinal States Defense. I don't know what they call them, but your military, our military. And then if we go a bit wider, I've worked with the UK government. We built a ML chatbot, not like ChatGPT, but like in the early stage of chatbots for medical in the medical sector or thereabout. Then also for the Dubai government, we've done something around NFT marketplaces. Sorry, NFT tickets during the Cannes Expo. So when it comes to software, like I have like a very vast knowledge on different fields and different use cases. Now, the reason for that is because I've come to understand that as a software engineer, and then as when you become a senior developer, you find out that you reach a ceiling, and that ceiling is that because you're an expert in this field. It's very bad because they'll bring new innovation and new solutions, and when those new innovations and new solutions come in, you find out that you're not skilled anymore. So what we ended up doing was that I started learning other skills, and then I built a company that I could push those skills to and give other developers opportunities to build on solutions that I've moved on from. And basically right now I'm focusing more on blockchain and ML and robotics, hardware technology. Reason because I feel that's where the future is moving into. And then also, if you notice, the next wall is actually hardware. So everyone knows that you can build software anywhere you want to do it. But now, if you control the hardware, yeah, if you control the hardware, nobody can actually build on it. So we need to start learning hardware technology that's what do you call it, Raspberry and the rest. So I felt so, and then for me, what I make in coding, my decision is I look at the next 5 years. I don't advise that for people like you. Like I don't advise that for a lot of us. Like if you in coding for a very long time, if you're a software engineer for a long time, and you have money in code, you can actually look at softwares and solutions that will be trending in the next 5 years. Not you can't cash in now, but in the next 5 years, you look at like you're a senior developer or you're a mid-range developer, and then when you get a job, you'll be higher. So that's basically how I position myself. So I guess my computer has finally come on. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen now. So basically, so why am I telling this? Is because I find out I have this, I get these conversations a lot, and I think I would get it, and I just felt I should just kill it now. That the best language for you to learn isn't really what you're doing now. It's actually something that you would get to enjoy uh, in the next 5 years. Oh, oh, this is surprising. This is bad. Okay, so it seems I don't know why. This is bad. Okay, let me just give it one more time, one more try. Sorry, just a moment. Let's see if to get better this time. Um, I think I think for some reason my system will not allow me to give a clearer view of the presentation. So what I would do is so the topic today is focused on around design thinking, and it's a design thinking approach to creating innovative solutions. So can we go around and can everyone just give me an idea of what that topic means while I share the slide with the team on WhatsApp so that they could share it in one way or the other. So please, can you open your mics and just one minute, just tell me what you think about the topic and from your own perspective. There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, just from your own perspective. The way I say it, design thinking approach in creating innovative solution is this. Does that make sense? Please go ahead.
Okay, Zayad, take the mic, take the floor. Yeah, Zayad, you can speak, you can speak.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you again, Daniel. Um, I think about the topic. It's about you being a critical thinker and you being like projecting ahead of time on technologies that would actually turn up to be good investment and good source of like opportunities in the future. For example, when you use the blockchain technology, for example, few years back, let's say 5 to 8 years back, there was like little or no knowledge of the blockchain technology. But here we are now. We have a lot of blockchain engineers, blockchain software engineers. So it's about you to think on how to develop new products, new ideas that would actually sell in the future. Just like how the guest host actually said it. That's actually my own perspective. Yeah, I think that's
Okay, all right, do you have any other person that wants to talk? You can go ahead. Okay, yeah, Bayero, go on.
Okay, good morning, all. I think design thinking, I'll just say that it's a process, a step by step process that is taken in order to come up with a product. I think that is all I can say.
Okay, any other person? So if you are raising up your hand, you can just go ahead and speak because I'm trying to, might not see you, but trying to bring up the slide that was shared. Okay, yeah, let me share. Sorry, 1 second. Yes. Okay, let me just bring up this slide.
All right. So
I'm sorry.
I guess I'm just gonna
Okay.
take. I'll just continue. So yeah, just the first slide, not the second slide. So again, I listened to everyone. I listened to the first two, and your approach actually made sense. It it gave a defining points in the whole conversation. So I'm going to take the conversation from a different point of view. Now, the term software engineer. The term software engineer is a word term, and the reason why it's a word term is because it shouldn't exist. Software and engineering shouldn't exist. But now it started existing. And the reason it started existing was because software developers actually started doing approach that has to do with engineering. Now, as a science student, you know that there are certain approaches to certain things. And then those approach are actually tagged as some engineering approach and whatever. And then because of that, we gave this term called software engineering. And because they take an engineering approach during into building stuff. Now, if you look at from a design perspective, again, I'm not a designer, but then it has been proven that a design approach is actually the best. A design approach is like, let's say, I came to your house and I was like, you want to build a new house? I won't just start building a house for you. I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with you by saying, okay, fine. What kind of house do you want? Now I'll listen to you and be like, oh, actually, I just want a house for myself. Or, oh, I'm planning on getting married. So I think I want a 3 bedroom flat. Or no, I actually want a house for my work. Or I don't want this kind of house. I want that kind of house. I don't want this type of house. I want this form of house. I want this style of house. So, sorry, can you mute? It's okay. Yeah. So, if you look at it from that perspective, you find out that having an interactive conversations with the person gives you a more design approach. And my definition of it is that design thinking is an innovative problem solution approach that focuses on understanding the user needs, wants, and expectations. So why would you want to understand the user's need, the user's wants, and the user's expectation? It's because you don't want to build a crappy product. Give you an example. So there's a country called Nigeria, and then there's this agency called CBN. They found out that we have over, I think, 60 billion in transaction in crypto for the past 2 years. So the government said, oh, wow, this is a lot of money. I think, and then it's not going through the financial system, it's going through the back door. And why are they making this kind of expenses? Okay, they're using Bitcoin, using USDC, whatever cryptocurrency they decide to use. And then the turnover is around 60 billion in transaction. So you know what? Let's create something like ours. And then we created something called the eCoin. We created the eCoin only for us to find out that there's not up to $1 million in transaction using Inera. Now, why is that not? Why? Exactly, because they actually created a very good product. Number one, they're actually in a very innovative market, which is blockchain. Number two, the data states that there's over 60 billion in transaction, and there's over 100 and something million in profit. And guess what? It was Nigeria that actually made Ethereum go high. 2 years ago, basically, there was this Ponzi scheme that you buy Ethereum and buy a slot and then get other people to buy Ethereum. So because a lot of people were buying Ethereum, the price of Ethereum went high. And then I was like, hey, are you guys aware that you are darkening someone Ethereum for a promise of something? It doesn't make sense. And then because of that, Ethereum price went up. So all this data states that if Nigerian government creates their own blockchain, create their own coin, people will move from this unsafe currency to their own. It makes sense. But apparently it did not, because they didn't understand what the user needed. They didn't know what the user wanted. They didn't reach up to users' expectation. Number one, why are people going through that way? I don't want to do a transaction of over 100 million and then the next day EFCC comes and knocks on my door. I don't want to do a transaction of over 1 billion and then I have to pay tax. Number one, I wanted it to decentralize. It wasn't decentralized. What happened? Why would I want to? What's the difference between the basic Naira and the e-Naira? There's no difference. The one is just digital and one is non-digital. Hello, I have my bank account for that. So if you look at it from that perspective, you find out that if you don't actually focus on what the user needs, what the user wants, and the user expectation, you would not do something amazing. Give you an example. Um, if you always ask me, hey Victor, what do you think about fintech? I'll always tell you we just need 5 fintechs or less than one fintech in Nigeria. Why is that? Because basically, what the fintech company did for us in Nigeria was that they reduced the price of doing financial transaction. Back in the day, if you want to get a API for online payments, you're going to pay 40,000 naira and an application. And you have to deposit 150,000 naira or is it 200,000 naira? And then there's a cap on how much you're allowed to do. That was with GT Bank. With Zenith, it was a different idea. With EcoBank, it was a different idea. That was crazy, right? But if new fintech company said, "Hey, why don't we pay that amount of money? It doesn't really make sense. We should pay a different amount for that. We should do something else." And then this amazing company came up, Paystack, and Paystack did something amazing. Okay, yeah, people were like, I want to do my own. And then Flutterwave came in. Honestly, between Flutterwave and Paystack, I don't see a difference. No offense. Then we have new fintechs, and now everyone has done a new way. The last mile. That's those people in the rural area, or is it those people in the rural area? How do we get to them? Then people came with POS. They just build it on a new solution and then integration on it. And then I just find out that the day that fintech bubble will burst, a lot of people are going to lose their money. But then again, it made sense because what? They understood what the user needed, they understood what the user wanted, and they knew what the user expectation was. Next slide. So if you want to go through a user perspective, if you want to go through a design thinking approach into creating an innovative solution, and I've done that in my career, I've looked at it, hey, Victor, do I need to build this or do I need to get my developers to build this? Do I need to do this? How do we get the best solution for our user? How do we get the best solution for our clients? I came up with some answers. I mean, this is just my own approach to it. You have to emphasize, understand what the user needs and the pain points. Next slide. So the key points from this first point is that the first stage of design thinking is to understand the user need by sitting down with them, talking with them, understanding how will I do this in this way. Now, let me give you a crazy idea on how to do that. So if you become a senior, when you become a senior developer, or those of you that are senior developers, you understand that there's more than one way to build something. There's more than one way to build a solution. I could build something with React. I could build something with Angular. I can use Vue to build it. But now, how do I pick a language? Does that mean? And then I have 5 years experience in this language, 5 years experience in this language. I have 10 years experience with this language. How do I pick the best language to build a solution? As a business person, what approach is the best approach for this user? There's something I do and my team does is that we do user flow, user story. What does the user story mean? Is basically, if I want to book a flight to Dubai now, what's the best way for me to book a flight to Dubai? The best way for me to book a flight to Dubai is enter Dubai airline and then book a flight. But something happens. I might not have the money to pay now. So will I get punished? And because I don't have the money to book now, I get punished because the next time I go, the ticket is going to go high. Why would the ticket go high? Is because they have something called cookie. And then the cookie detect that, oh yeah, this guy's a returning user, so increase the price. Or maybe the tickets are going and then the price went high. So if I'm going to build a new ticketing system for the airline, I'm going to look at it. I think I need to build a solution that the fact that you looked for a ticket to fly to Dubai, I should have the ability to hold that ticket for 1 week. Yes, I know it exists 24 hours, but I won't say 24 hours. I'll say 1 week because sometimes you might have a back and forth, and then I shouldn't get penalized for it. I should pay maybe $1 or $2 or $5. And then if I don't book it in 1 week, then I lose that ticket and then I can get penalized for it. So now I'm now looking at it from today's issues with people that book flights to fly somewhere. Now, because I put myself in the user's place, I've emphasized with the user, understand his problems. I understand problems with people that fly. Let's use another approach. Okay, someone has a question. Don't worry. Every point, we're going to talk in every point. Then let me use another use case. INEC, how do I do a free and fair election? The best way for me to do a free and fair election is to have the paper voting and also the electronic voting to actually intertwine. But something happened. INEC happened. And right now we're going to court. And now we'll go to court, and then in court, we're going to prove who was right and who was wrong. Now, how can you have the ability to go to court if there was not a physical representation and a digital representation? So when they were building this solution, they looked at all this stuff. They looked at what happens if there's rigging? What happens if the officials are not fair and free? What happens if that happens? Now, they put provision to that. And now the people that built this actually looked at all this narrative and built an amazing solution. I'm looking forward to seeing how the whole legal case is going to turn out. Someone raised this hand. What's your question? Hello? Someone actually raised this hand. Or shall I continue? Can everyone
we
hear
can
me?
we can continue. We can continue. We can continue. Probably it's a mistake. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So awesome. So there are two companies that actually did similar approach. For example, Apple. Now, a lot of people say Apple are not the best, don't have the best user experience. But people forget that if you started using Apple 5 years ago, it's actually the most easiest user interface ever, because Apple was the first company that invented something called the home button. Meaning, before in user design, there's no such thing as the universal home button. And then sometimes you can get lost somewhere and go back and say, no, we can't go back. You need to approve this. But Apple said, you know what? In case you get lost in this thing called your software, you should be able to click a single button and then you go back home. And then they created what they call the home button is. And now in coding, if you don't create a home button, you're sick, right? That's one. Airbnb was like, okay, we created this thing called this software that's really amazing, but then we have an issue. People are complaining that the listing doesn't make sense. So what Airbnb did to really understand their users is that they conducted an extensive research and did a lot of interview with the host and the guests to understand the issues. And one of the issues they understood was that landlords had issues snapping pictures. In a developed country like US, the landlords did not know how to snap pictures, because apparently people that know how to snap pictures are not landlords, are people in their late 20s or early 20s, are teenagers. They are the people that know how to snap pictures. And they're like, oh my God, we need to teach landlords how to snap pictures with their smartphones. They have to teach landlords that, okay, you need to get a smartphone to snap a good picture. And this is how you snap a good picture. As stupid as that, you were losing money. So that's one of the things that they did. So next slide. So the second part, after you've emphasized, have empathy with the user, understand his problem, you have to define the problem. Now, why do you need to define the problem? Because there's some problems that cannot be solved. One problem like that, as of I speak, and I believe in 20 years, it might be a different case. In 200 years, it might be a different case. If I shoot you now on the head, you are going to die. So how do we solve a problem that if I shoot you on the head, you're not going to die? Now, one solution could be let's create bulletproof. But I was saying, no, I don't want to create bulletproof. I want us to have a cream that if I rub it on my face, it will bounce. Okay. Now, you can look at it from a different perspective. I can say, okay, fine. Sorry, if this is a sensitive this, I could say I'm going to go through black magic. I'm going to go through black magic, and then sorry, I'll use Hausa. I'm from the north too. So any of this Baba or Arjunu or whatever to solve my problem. But now that's not a scientific solution. But that's the solution. You get my point. So for you need to define to understand, okay, is this problem actionable? Do we get to solve this problem? How do we solve this problem? Now I'm going to use a company. Next slide. I'm going to use a company, Tesla. So Tesla was like, we want to make people more green. We want to make things more green. We want to make people rely less on fossil fuel. How do we solve that? Is it attainable? Is it doable? Yes, it's doable. So how do we do that? They started thinking. Okay, fine. One of the things that we use fossil fuels is for locomotion. So can we stop using fossil fuels for locomotion? What can we use? Batteries. Really? Batteries haven't actually innovated in a very long time. And mind you, quote me on this. Innovation that hasn't been built upon for a period of time dies. As stupid as that sounds, look at Egypt. Egypt had built pyramids. Italy, Europe, Italy, Rome, all of them built amazing architecture. But guess what? None of them can build that today. An average Egyptian does not know how to build a pyramid. Why? Because that technology got lost. That technology was not built upon. So if you don't build on your technology, if you don't build on a technology, it's not going to last. So what happened was that nobody was actually investing on batteries for cars. And that's where Tesla said, okay, you know what? We're going to do that. So the first step we're going to do is that if we can improve the lifespan of a battery, what that means is that how long a battery can withhold energy, then we're one step closer to electric cars. Electric cars in the sense that they're not using fossil fuels, now they're using electric. We already have inverters, but the issue with inverters is that they're too big. So how do we solve this problem? Now, mind you, if you look at the anatomy of a Tesla car, their batteries are small as a Tiger battery. I kid you not. It's just a little bit bigger. So that's what Tesla did. They innovated on the technology, kept innovating on the technology, kept innovating on the technology. And it's a shock you to find out that Tesla was able to improve their battery life. And now everybody is creating an electric car because what? Tesla actually did the first investment to prove to people that it is possible and it's doable for you to actually build something like this. So my key point here is that once you have a clear understanding of the user's needs, define the problem statements. This involves framing the problem in a way that is actionable and focuses on the user's need. Keyword: what was the user's need? They wanted to create a more sustainable environment, a more sustainable planet Earth that people rely less on fossil fuel. So how did they do that? We need to reduce our carbon footprint on what? On cars. And then for a period of time, it proved that yes, people can use electric cars. Now people are trying to do electric planes. I'm not going to enter any electric plane for the next 20 years. I'm sorry, but that is my stand on that. Because I don't want one day that one battery will blow or electric will, or lightning will strike the plane. And then for some reason, I don't want to test that. But people are ready to try that. But guess what? You needed to look at the problem, look at an actionable solution towards that problem. And then what? Remember, it must align with the user need. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't align on the user's need, you're like, yes, that solved the problem, but okay, I'm not waiting. I want to do so. Like, it's just like I've worked with a lot of Indians, and most of the time I meet new clients, I'm taking job from Indians because what? Our Indian brothers have built an amazing solution that someone is saying lightning charge unlimited battery. No, it's not it's not unlimited battery. It's not unlimited charge. Anyway, you guys are having fun. So the problems with our Indian brothers is that they don't build solutions for scale. They build solutions to solve a problem. So if you meet an Indian and say, okay, I want to build a website that I can communicate with my friend. You said communicate with my friend. So basically, I can use Google Fire Chats for authentication and then just create a REST API client script. What am I saying? Anyway, just build a simple script that sends message and receives message. I've solved your problem. And an Indian will bill you and give you as a product. And then you look at him and like, okay, this is what I asked. Hello, have you checked the scope of work? Your scope of work said you want to communicate with somebody. I just built for you a platform that allows you to communicate to somebody. But say, oh, what happened? Like, it's not end to end. There's no view. There's no picture. There's no video. Hello, you did not ask me that. So, but then if you go to a design point of view, you kind of understand that in a reality, somebody just wanted a creative and more innovative way of communication with his friend, which involve this future, this future, this future, this future. And then the future must align with what the user needs. Any questions so far? Next slide. Brainstorm possible solutions. I think I actually spoke about this in point 2. So basically, when you actually come up with actionable plans, it's time for you to look at how you can solve this. It's time for you to look at how this solution can come into reality. It's time for you to look at how it's possible, how this is doable, how you can actually make this possible. Example, I have 3 months to build a platform that allows people to move from point A to point B while spending $100. How do I solve this problem? This point basically makes me understand how is it possible for me to achieve it within this time frame, with this budget, inclusive of what the user wants. So I'm not going to bother in this place. It just builds up on point 3. So point 4, prototype. So after all the talk and all the sitting down and sketching work and doing whatever, you need to create a prototype. So during my time at Snapchat, my role was a unique role. So basically, if you are aware of Snapchat, Snapchat has one of the most amazing advertisement infrastructure, and I've worked with them. Now, if you notice sometimes when you do Snapchat, or when you're with your friend, your female friend, and she's on Snapchat and you're trying to do something, because in all sincerity, when I started using Snapchat, I watched Google video on how to put filter on Snapchat because I thought I would just see click here to do filter. Apparently, I was supposed to click on the screen, then to generate it activate the computer vision something. So for those of you that don't know how to use Snapchat, even me too, I watched Google on how to use Snapchat. So Snapchat Ad API, basically how Snapchat Ad API means is that there's the basic one for everyone. Then for people like Coca-Cola, the US government, the Nigerian government, they send a representative from Snapchat to go and sit down and listen to you, listen to what you want to use their advertisement for, their platform. What advertisement do you want to do, and how the platform can be tweaked to achieve your advertisement goal. Advertisement goal. So they needed someone that understood the business and at the same time could code on the spot. So basically, what I had to do was what I had to do was that fly to this country, meet with the CEO of Coca-Cola, have a conversation with their board, listen to what they want to do, go back to my hotel, code for 48 hours, create a prototype. Hey, this is what you guys said. This is how it works. This is how like then send it to the team in Silicon Valley to build on that, and then we send them their API. That was my job role. Why would that job exist? Why would that job role exist? Because I understood that all their customers have different advertisement need, and they're going to pay billions, millions of dollars in advertisements for a period of time. So they need to give you the best experience possible, because if they don't give you the best experience possible, you go to their competition. You either go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Google. So we need to create people that would basically go and meet with you and sit down and hear your problem. Point 1, listen to your problem. Point 2, show you an actionable plan. Point 3, and create a prototype. Point 4, on how it's going to work. You need to create the most craziest design. All you just have to show them is that, okay, I've listened to your problem. I've seen how this is how your problem will look like using this solution. And guess what? When you've gone through all these first 4 points, it literally allows you to what? Use the best stack, use the best use cases, use the best scenario to come up with the best prototype for your user. Next slide. So test. After you're done with your prototype, you're going to go and test. So now I'm going to give you from 3 different points of views as an MVP, from an MVP point of view. So now when you Dropbox. So Dropbox existed in this. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so from an MVP point of view, I'm going to use a use case of Dropbox. So what did Dropbox do? So Dropbox said that we want to make people have the ability to store information and data on the cloud. People said that was crazy. Why would I invest in this? So what Dropbox did was that their prototype was literally a video. So they created a video that showed you how Dropbox works. Basically, install Dropbox, upload your video, upload your picture, upload your documents onto Dropbox, and it's stored there for a year. That was the video. And guess what? They got over more than a million sign up. And they're like, oh yes, people are willing to pay for this. More than a million sign up. I mean, even if the conversion rate is just 1%, that's like 10,000 people that are going to pay for it. And if you're going to charge $2 per month, that's $20,000 you've already gotten as conversion rate. So from user feedback, you understand that, oh wow, people want this. Other people say, yeah, I don't want it this way. I want it this way. Oh, I don't want it this way. Then it gives you an idea on that, okay, fine. We're going to do what? We're going to refine on it, which goes to our next point. Next slide. So through your testing, you get feedbacks from user. You understand what the user really wants, because guess what? What's in the user's eye? There's this saying that you can't find your perfect husband. You can't find your perfect wife. You can't find your perfect girlfriend. You can't find your perfect boyfriend. It's an idea in your head. So what you see is like a manifestation of the idea in your head, which you have to settle for or build to the manifestation in your head. But then your reality in your head can never be met up. That's the reality of things. So when you create that feedback, when you create that mop-up, that prototype and show them, they're like, wait, is this what we talked about? Fine. That's like when sometimes you think of this crazy idea and then when you write it down, like, wait, now the thing is, oh my guy, I bet this don't make sense. Or you finally build something that you're excited about, or maybe you created the back end of something you're very excited about, and then now the front end have integrated, and you looked at it and you're like, come on, this is no fine. I mean, this is not go they crazy. Make sense. You get that stuff. So when you get feedback from your users, you should be comfortable enough to make adjustment and pivot. What that means is you need to, okay, let me give you a perfect scenario. So what goes back to if technology is not built upon, people forget how to build that technology, or the innovation in that field dies. Let's use SpaceX. So SpaceX, why SpaceX is amazing is that, guess what? So there's this thing called rockets, right? And then how rockets work is that you put the satellite on the rocket and then it flies. That rocket is gone forever. And guess what? That rocket costs like $10 million, $20 million, God knows how much. And the rocket has been used only once. Don't go. Bye-bye. One guy was like, can the rockets go up and come back and land? They were like, hello, that's stupid. I mean, think about it. Let's be real. A rocket that has fire, it will go to space and come back and land on the earth. Haba. Even my Nigerian self, just putting my Nigerian head right now is telling me that guy, go work. Let me tell you another funny one. Basically we're using internet right now. So the people that invented FM and the person that invented AM was taken to prison because he told people that he's going to create a new solution that you don't need wire, you don't need cord to transmit information. It's going to be wireless. People are like, oh my God, Victor has become mad. His friends, his family took him to psychiatry for his own good because what he was saying was crazy. But today, we have wireless technology. Literally, if you're not using wireless, there's a saying that says everything is good with Bluetooth. So Bluetooth will not have exist. Okay, back to the rocket story. So there's this guy called Tesla and called Elon Musk. So Elon Musk said, screw it. We're going to build a rocket that will go to space and land back on Earth. He tried it the first time, the thing blew. People say, kinky. It's not possible. We told you so. You just wasted money. He tried it the second time. It did not work. It blew. He tried it the third time. It blew. I'm not get money to waste. He said, okay, we're going to try it the fourth time. And if it doesn't work this time, we'll just find, it's literally impossible for us to take rockets up and come down. And guess what? The fourth time, the rocket landed on planet Earth. It went to low orbit on space and landed on Earth. What happened between 1 to 4 and 1 to 5? He listened to, okay, we want to create sustainable rockets. That's number one. Number two, you want to get feedback. And guess what? All the feedback was bad. But he understood something. When was the rocket created? Rocket was created in the 1980s. That's when rocket was created. Meaning, with current technology, we can actually improve on this. Test one blew. But guess what? They got data. Meaning, something caused it to blow. They fixed it again. It blew again. For those of you that are car drivers, you understand that when you take your car to mechanic and you fix it, you come and see one new problem. Apparently, one problem was covering the other problems. And since you have fixed this problem, new problem has showed. All of us that have cars can testify to that. So it was the same thing. So test three, they're like, okay, fine, we'll solve this problem, we'll fix this. It took it to space. It came back and exploded again. What happened? I just said, we don't fix this. Let's check. Another problem deal. Maybe that the carburetor don't spoil. Or no, the alternator get problem and the same thing. You sit down and fix it. Finally, the fourth time you say, see, there's this time I bought a BMW last year and the BMW gave us headache. I said I was going to spend only 500,000 naira on that BMW. And if I spend 500,000 naira on this BMW and it doesn't work, I am going to sell the BMW. And guess what? When I fix it from the mechanic and I'm driving home, the AC, oh my God. You know when you drive sweet cars, the thing is sweet. I was enjoying myself. But when I reach home, imagine you park your car and come the next day and on car no go start. If I see the BMW, I say, God forbid. So I eventually sold the BMW. But what the story I'm trying to show you is that I kept fixing this car, hoping it will work. I was getting feedback. Okay, this car is going to be well. Guy, don't worry, you go walk and all that. So the third time he walked and he said, guys, okay, we're going to try this one last time. If it doesn't work this time, we'll pack our load and go. And guess what? The fourth time it worked. And what happened? The US government gave this guy $1 billion for a 4 year contract. Because what? Elon Musk has created a new technology, which is rockets going to space and landing. Never has been done. Again, if technology is not built upon for a period of time, the technology, people forget about that technology and people are not built on that technology. So he took feedbacks and kept refining on it, kept refining and kept refining on it. If you look at it on Jumia, let's come down to Nigeria. For example, Jumia is not making a lot of money, but there are other local. I know somebody that she has a turnover of 10 million, 20 million on selling clothes, and she does it on her WhatsApp. How? Because she understood what her users want is for her to wear the clothes and do video, show herself that she's fine. And guess what? It's women that are buying it, or it's not guys. And it's so she does on her status showing her new video collection. Oh, here's my new clothes. Come and buy it. It's 1,000. Then she does discount. And guess what? She buys it in bulk. She understood that my people don't want to go website. I want to be going through, I want to be scrolling to your status and boom, I'll see this for sale and you're going to buy it. And then you can do deposit and do deposit. Jumia should have done that. But Jumia has been losing money. Jumia shares is $2 per share. You can go and buy Jumia shares. Hopefully it will increase. So looking at from test and test and test from user feedback, you keep integrating and refine your idea. Next slide. Collaboration. Now, this is a really touchy side of stuff because us as software engineers, us as Africans, us as business owners from Africa can testify that collaboration has done more harm than good in a large scale. Don't quote me. But collaboration is good. With the right collaboration, you are in a good, amazing team, amazing cycle, this is good collaboration. But I've lost money because of bad collaboration. I have lost money because of bad collaboration. I've been a bad guy in some collaboration. I've been a good guy in some collaborations. So this is a tricky topic, but I'll say it in the best way possible. I was in Malawi in November. And what I did was I went to Twitter. I searched Malawi. I DM'd like 15 people. I'm like, hey, I saw you into tech, blah, blah, blah. You're into business. I'm coming to your country. Do you mind showing me around? This is what I've done, blah, blah, blah. I bragged about who I am, blah, blah, blah. And I'm coming to your country. Will you create time for me to show me around? Because I found out that the best way to experience somewhere is to have somebody there. So because I had something they want, and because I could connect to what they're doing, they gave me access, right? And I got to see the president. A lot of people don't know that. I got to meet the president the following day because of what? I met the right people. I met important people. I met the rich people in that country. And they gave me access to certain people because of what? I knew, and I didn't come as a ghost man. I met with people that have similar minds with me, similar thinking with me, doing something similar to what I'm doing because of what? Collaboration. So I was like, oh, we can collaborate on this, we can do this, we can do this. Software engineers can testify that Slack Overflow is basically the biggest collaboration pool ever. Because of what? Everybody asks a question. Hey, I have this problem. Can you solve this problem for me? How do we solve this problem? And so, hey, I'll solve this problem. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. So you can't shy away from collaboration because the best way to build something, you can ask somebody, hey, I'm trying to build, okay, let me give you an example. We're building something in drones. And then I have an expertise in software engineering. I have an expertise. I started learning hardware. So I had to speak with people that are in engineering to understand best hardwares because we needed soft materials that would not break, that could withstand heat, that will withstand sun, heat, wind, rain, that weigh light. I don't have that knowledge. Okay, there's no the amount of Google that will give me the best answer. Better for me to go and humble myself, go and meet someone that knows material, that studies material, and tell me, okay, this kind of material, if you mix this material and material science. If you mix this material and mix, guy, we're going to mix two materials. You boil this, melt this, freeze this, music together, and we'll create a new material for this. What? Collaboration. So basically, collaboration is what would give us the ability to do that. We run a hedge fund of around $5 million, and we made a profit of Naira around 7 to 10 billion Naira thereabout. And most of that money wasn't mine, it was people's money. But because of association, because of collaboration, I was like, oh yeah, these guys are doing amazing stuff. send 10 million. Oh, these guys are doing amazing stuff. Send this amount, send this amount. So why am I talking about collaboration this long? I just need you to understand that collaboration, look forward to getting your heart broken via collaboration. Look forward to getting good, look forward to getting your heart, look forward to getting your back stabbed. Look forward to getting someone stealing your idea. But guess what? Collaboration will take it further than you doing it alone. And guess what? Even though someone steals your idea, nobody can execute it the way you execute it. There's different approach to something. Right now, we're looking at the design approach. There's a more technical approach. There's a medical approach. That's why there are different approach. So if you shy away from collaboration, honestly, you achieve good, but you would have gone further if you collaborated with someone. Next slide. So customer-centric. We've heard the story which says customers are always right. So the user is always right, the customer is always right. So basically, the next slide, so that we just boil down into it. So basically, what this talks about is that if you say, now my users will tell us how we build this product. Oh, this is building in blockchain. You can say there's something called governance, self-governance. So because we buy your coin, we dictate the developers, the core developers on which features should go out and which features should not go out, or what should we roll out next and what shouldn't roll out next. And then if you own a very big brand, the moment you build a big brand, you don't own that brand again. It's the people that make the brand, it's brands that define what the brand does. So you hear companies like Disney. Disney cannot do something. When Disney acquired Marvel, people thought that Disney was going to turn down Deadpool, all these X-rated, R-rated movies, because what? Disney was known as a family brand, as a family-centric brand. When this golfer, Tiger Woods, had scandals and all that, they had to drop them. They had to drop him because what? They're a family-led brand. So anything that's going to affect family, because he was accused of cheating, anything that was going to affect family, they're not going to associate with that. That's why they had to drop this guy, Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp. So when you're customer-centric, you understand that our customers know what we want. Our customer knows what they need. We will listen to our customer and build it. People that have proved to us they will never do that is Apple, but we have come to understand that even Apple, they listen sometimes. Those of us can testify that if you use MacBook from 2016 to 2020, you know they have changed it back to the Lightning, that electric, adapter on, because everyone was complaining. Me personally, I like the touch screen, that touch screen on the front. I mean, that's in those cool when you see emoji, but people were complaining that I want to click F1 and let it always take me to F1. I want to click escape, let it always take me to escape. So a lot of people were complaining about that, and then because of that, they changed it. Have you ever wondered why people complain about things on Google, but then Google doesn't change it? Because Google has this metric that said until 25% of their users complain about something, they will not fix it. That means until 250 million people complain about a product or a feature, Google will not change it. Because what? 75% are enjoying it. So should we give up 75 for just 25? Come on, that's not real. Next slide. Of course, it all boils down to creativity. Thinking outside the box. True. Again, users can really sometimes not be right, but you need to understand two things. Who are the people that made you? Your users. What does your brand stand for? So when you understand this is what our brand stands for, even if you don't listen to the user sometimes, you understand this is what we stand for, this is what we do, it's going to be easy. If you're someone that does not, if you're someone that you stand for, you're an integrity-led person. It means that if I say half a guy might just dash you 10,000 naira, may just slide for me this stuff, you tell me never. And because of that, you never talk to me. Because what? You're an integrity person. Like, oh yeah, you can't buy my votes, you can't apply this, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. So for you to balance a user-centric movement is to understand the user-centric side and the brand. What does the brand stand for? So if the brand stands for this, it only makes sense that we will do this. So when the users are complaining, you're like, hey, come on, but this is what our brands are. So that's why Apple brings out a new. I notice most of the times, most of the new features that Apple releases, the people that make noise is not the people that uses Apple. It's people that are outside that don't even know what the hell is going on in the Apple ecosystem. Like, hey, Apple have launched this and blah 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 blah. But also in the Apple ecosystem understand that, oh yeah, this makes sense now. And if you understand something, Apple doesn't create a new feature because the feature exists. They bring it to us when we need the feature, when the world says, yes, this feature is here to stay. And then when it comes in, Apple makes it in a way that there's a saying, sorry, I know I just stopped talking. There's a saying that says that when we reach the pinnacle of smartphones, like well, everything that can be invented in smartphones have been invented, all the features that can be possible on smartphones is possible. The company that will still be innovating is going to be Apple. Because anytime Apple brings a new feature, it don't do. Now the future be that. So even when a new company brings a new feature, wait for Apple to do it their own way. When Apple does it their own way, you're like, yes, this is how the future should be done. This is how the future. I know I'm bragging for Apple. I use an Android. I use a Samsung, just so you guys know. I just use an Apple tablet. I use a Linux system. So before you think, say, I'll be Apple guy. But I'm just trying to make sense for you guys on this part of stuff. So why is that? Because you understand that, okay, our brand stands for thinking outside the box. Our brand stands for thinking outside the box. Our brand stands. How do you believe that if you see somebody using Apple, like, this guy gets sense, or this guy is smart, he's innovative, he's a genius, he's a creativity guy. Now, because now they the brand talk. So you expect Apple to be doing some kind of stupid experiment. It makes sense, they should. But should they? So when you look at it, when you look at the brand and look at what the users are saying, you find a middle ground. So that's the best way to do it. So most of the time when you see issues, it's either the company went with the users and find out that, oh, the users forgot about what the brand is, or maybe this is what the world is saying. Like everything's in vogue now. If you talk about, I don't like gay. I'll say it anywhere, anytime. But now, because everybody now all for gay, all for homo, blah 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 blah, you notice that Jesus Christ, Amado Kimi. you notice that new companies now are making pivoting to this. And like, no, you see people protesting that we are the ones that use this product. We don't stand for this. We don't blah blah for this. And so, yeah, you have to to answer that question, you have to put a blend between the user centric and also what the brand stands for. What's the brand known for? So creativity, basically thinking outside the box. You need to find a creative way to build stuff. When you find a creative way to do stuff, people appreciate that. Let me give you the most stupid example. So have you seen iPhone 14, the dynamic island? Oh, sorry, iPhone. Wait, are we iPhone 13 now? Or 14? Yeah, iPhone 13, dynamic island. Huh? When iPhone 13? I think so. Yeah, the dynamic island. So the dynamic island is just a user interface. Up NEPA. Anyway, so it seems like Nigerian NEPA has killed the lights, so you will not see my face again, but you can hear my voice. So basically, the dynamic island is just a user interface. But now we're like, we want to reduce our notch. But that means now people have been laughing at Apple and say, oh, so Apple has the biggest notch, blah, 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 blah. Apple has the biggest notch. They can reduce. Apple said, no, our notch is big for a reason. So now that we're making our notch small, how do we justify it? How can we make our notch small, but then make people appreciate it? Plus do it a different way. So you see that notch, why don't we create some kind of animation that goes with the notch? I even notice some companies have been doing that, but they have not been doing it in a user interface space. They've been using it with a wallpaper. For those of us that are in Nigeria, in Kaduna, for example, if you come to the Kaduna city itself, if you see when those places are cell phones, you can see when a new Infinix is out, when a new Techno is out, when they have that tiny camera in front, you see new pictures. You see how they'll blend it with the camera. You see how they'll blend it with where the camera hole is and all of that. And it's so fascinating. Why? Because it looks cool. But you didn't put in the work to make it a user interface. Just put in the work. We just gave you 20 wallpapers that eventually none of us will put the wallpaper. We either put our dream in the wallpaper or put our girlfriend's pictures or our boyfriend's pictures or whatever we want. And then we'll still see the whole. So but Apple said, okay, you are saying that we should do it this way. Why don't we actually innovate on this issue? And they created what? Dynamic Island. And the Dynamic Island is the most beautiful user interface that have been invented in a long time. Aside from the Nothing Phone backend. Next slide. Human-centered. So right now, the world is moving into improving people's life, and it's a beautiful thing. The last century did not care about people's life. They all cared about making money. Now the world has moved into creating people's lives. Now, let me just make you understand something. This people's life only matters in first world countries. In third world countries, nobody's sent. I'd rather be dying by making money. I don't care. I'm just being real with you guys. But if you're working for clients that are in first world countries, you must put in mind that if your market is to get funding from first world countries, you must tell them how it improves people's life. But if you're like Gala, I don't give a fuck. All I know is that I'm going to prepare my gala and you buy it, you sell it. Simple. So you need to understand that we are moving into the war. We're pivoting into a human life matter environment. That's what the century is going to be all about. But keep in mind, now the century has been divided into three. First world countries, second world countries, and third world countries. And Nigeria is a third world country. Nigeria doesn't care about global warming. Nigeria doesn't care about climate change. Person never chop. Now, person will chop go worry about problem. Person will chop. I was having a conversation with a friend. I was like, okay, I'm having issues with Canada because of my taxes, because my tax is kind of high. I mean, you pay 1 million, 2 million, 3 million in naira for taxes because of what? Guy, I go Japa, come out that country. Their country is good for a certain kind of people, not for my kind of people. Wow, that person will get money, go think that kind of person, that kind of problem. But if you suffer, a person give you access to first world country, guy, you no go wrong, go. Now you go wrong, go. Now when you go there, you can say, oh my God, I get money. Me, I go find place where person will chop my money. Now when you go reason that kind of stuff. Sorry, I just have to speak in broken because that's the best way I can make this. Because we have to be real with ourselves. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. We know we are Nigerians. We know how to package ourselves for certain kind of people. First world country thinks about this. Okay, so how are you guys impacting stuff? And then you hear Victor doing some bullshit like that. Like, okay, so we're building this stuff because it broke my heart when I found out that a lot of people cannot access this, and access this. So I felt myself that, okay, we're going to build something really good that someone like me, someone from a third world country can have access to that. And if I can start in a first world country, I can take this product and go back to my own home country and have people enjoy this product. I was like, wow, such an innovative person. He's thinking about his own country. Guy, I lie. I just want me to send me funding. I will get Nigeria or more. I don't go build shit. I will go build tenant house. Or guy, no pay your money. I will bring boys to go drive to come up for my house. But I'm just being real with you, man. But the point I'm trying to make is that you need to understand that balance. You need to understand that there is funding if you actually look about positive impact. But as a businessman, you have to think about your bottom line. So you need to package for the right audience. You need to understand your audience. But the world has moved towards social impact. But third world country has not moved to social impact. Understand the difference. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. So any questions? Someone is raising his hand.
Okay. This. In fact, I don't know. Like what I've learned so far, I don't even know how to actually qualify it, but it's really, really so educative. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation and session. I think we have quite a lot of hands up. So please, if you want to speak, raise up your hand. I will call you. So don't just unmute yourself. Let's do things orderly. It's also part of the design process. So let's start with Muhammad Bakar Abubakar. Sorry if I pronounced it well. Let's start with Muhammad Abubakar. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Victor. I wanted to thank you for a very wonderful and informative presentation. I personally really enjoyed it, and I wanted to ask you for ways of connecting with you, maybe via LinkedIn, Twitter, or even email, if possible. Thank you.
Okay, so I have to confess, even I give you my WhatsApp number, I sometimes don't respond, but I always respond eventually. You need to understand that side. But I'll always respond. So if in case you get access to my number and then I don't respond, don't get offended because I get a lot of messages. And then sometimes I'm not always on WhatsApp. I'm on WhatsApp, but I'm not chatting. So if that's okay, but that information will be shared with you. I just started getting active on Twitter again. I've been inactive on Facebook for over 2 years. I've been inactive on LinkedIn for 1 year. And basically, what I've been doing for the past 2 years was I'm trying to control the information about me. I just found out that when if I never prepare the kind of information I want to be out to the world, what that means is we all just give information about, we just talk on social media, and then people use that information and define who we are. I found out that sometimes you might like, oh yeah, this guy get money, or this guy is proud, or this guy is arrogant, or this guy is into tech, or this guy is into business, this guy is into investment. So I was like, okay, fine. I think what I want to do now is what I've been doing is that if I stop putting information online, the last information you can have from me is 2020. So any new information should come from 2022, beginning of 2022. And now from that time, I could control my information. I will control the kind of information I want to put online. So that's why I've been away from social media. And I think everyone should try that. It's kind of good because it makes you, people, they said your best CV is on the internet. And then we're not really cautious on how we package ourselves online. I don't need to package myself online, but now I've started working with international organizations. So I don't want to go and make a statement on something that would affect me, or you get my point. So I think my email will be shared, my WhatsApp will be shared, and then my Twitter. I want to increase my Twitter, so go and follow me on Twitter. It's the Victor Peter. I mean, I joined Twitter since 2020, but no, 2010, but 2014 or something like that. But I have only 540 users. Now, because I don't tweet. But anyway, Sha, follow me on Twitter. If you follow me on
So,
Twitter, then send me a DM, then I'll give you the other information. Yeah,
so
let me use
I'll
that.
share you. I'll share the link. I'll share the link, the Twitter link to your profile on the group on the call now. So
Okay.
I think someone else is raising up the hand. That's Mukhtar Mukhtar Labo. So you can ask your question, Mukhtar.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Victor Peter. I
Hello.
enjoyed this. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, good afternoon,
Yes, we
Mr.
can hear
Peter.
you. Go on.
Okay, I really enjoyed this session, so I just wanted to thank you. That's number one. Number two, I am actually new into this tech industry because I'm a businessman, so I do mostly physical businesses. So I just have this urge to start up tech industry. So I just needed your advice to know what should I do? What should I start up with, please? Thank you very much.
Okay. So since you're in business, that means money is not a problem. I would say look at the tech that will be the bomb in the next 5 years. So the reason for that is that if you keep practicing now for the next 3 years, then you cash out in the fourth year, fifth year, starting from today. Reason for that is because there are two people that join tech, people that are looking for money, and then people that are just like tech, I want to try it. So you look, to me, I feel you're fascinated about tech and you want to start doing it. So there's the coding side of tech, and there's the business product management managers side of tech. So the product manager side of tech is people that understand tech but don't code. Their own job is basically to delegate and make developers know what to do by what time, because all our job is just to sit down and code. Or there's also the investment side of tech. Basically, you carry your money that you have made in business and invest in tech companies. That's another way to make crazy money. So, but then if you are looking at the technology side, I would recommend blockchain, but not any blockchain. Blockchain companies now are dashing people money for you to build on their product. This guy, ES of Kadipa, his younger brother is on Lightning Network, would give you $100,000 to build on blockchain Lightning Network for free. Okay. They'll pay you to learn their technology and they'll give you money to build on their technology. Why? Because the more people are using their coin, the more the price of their coin will go up. So if you're going through blockchain route, I'd rather say look for the blockchain company that will pay you to build on their product, learn the language, apply for grants from them, and will pay you to build on their network. If you're not going to go to blockchain, I would say learn React. Learn React 360 or Babylon JS or A-Frame. Those languages basically focus on the metaverse. The metaverse might crash, it might not crash, but you know all this cartoon on television. I'm trying to find the most stupidest way of explaining it for you. But you know that thing that but you've heard about the metaverse, right?
So,
Have you heard about the metaverse?
yes, yes, I have.
Okay,
I have.
so you can learn the technology that makes the metaverse possible. And guess what? The technology is actually game computing. So when you're learning the technology, actually makes you a game developer. So you already have access to game development because if you're going to build the engine that allows you to run a metaverse environment, you will learn Unity and Unreal. If you're building a web-based product, then you learn Babylon and you learn Babylon JS and A-Frame on and 3JS. So that's another route. Or you can do the design side of things, then you learn how to do 3D designs for it to run on the metaverse. So blockchain, pick for it, but don't pick any blockchain. Look for the one that will give you money to learn on their own product. I mean, make money when they're going to, why don't you make money while learning a new skill? Or metaverse, products or solutions that help you build on the metaverse. And now AI has finally woken up again, but I think we have a lot of AI developers. Don't go to data science. Data science is too crowded, and there's so little. I mean, you can write script to do that data science. No offense to all our data guys there. I'm just being real. And then it won't be bad to know React, and because React has kept improving and kept improving and kept improving. From React, you can do the React 360, React for blockchain and all that. So it's good to know that language. But then again, do your research and ask yourself, what product or what solutions will be needed in the next 5 years? Learn hardwares, learn softwares that would integrate on hardwares, because in the next 5 years, people will start controlling their hardware. You get why are they controlling their hardware? Because China has understood something. If you can't ban the software, you can ban the hardware that allows the software possible. And the most smallest software that exists right now is semiconductors. Nigeria doesn't have semiconductors. It's not a matter of YouTube or any environment that you can pay that will allow you to use semiconductors. So in that retrospect, the closest you can have is to learn how to use languages that allow you to integrate on hardwares. I worked with a sex company. Yes, I said sex company that taught me how to use languages. I started playing around with. I know how to make my toaster vibrate. It's not something I'm proud of, but I needed money, and they were paying very good money. You get. So that one gave me another ability for me to play with my hardware. Sorry, that's the reason why I brought the conversation up. So having a technology that allows you to learning the technology that allows you to play with your hardware, it will be amazing. Also, yeah, I believe you're a father, you're going to be a father. It will be awesome for that instead of you pressing those toys and be saying, or calling Chinese name or English, let your child hear Hausa, hear your name. That's crazy. That's awesome. You can even start selling it if you're in Kano, in Panteka, in Kontinkori, or even in Zaria Market, that, okay, here is a Hausa-led toy. You buy the ones, you import them from China, change the hardware, put the Hausa one. People will buy it. That's a business. Igbos have shown us that they can do ABCD in Igbo and they'll sell it. So again, look at the product that would exist in the next 5 years and learn it now. You don't need money. Learn it for the next 3 years. Innovate in the next 3 years. And then you start cashing out from your 4th year and 5 years. And the fun thing about that is that you have track record for the next 3 years. People are like, oh, if it's this, go and meet this man. If it's this, you go and meet this man. Does that make sense? I know that doesn't answer your question, but that will give you an idea on how to make a decision, because the decision boils down to you. But for you, I would say don't focus on the money. Focus on how to cash out in the next 4 years. Because instead of cashing out now, when you start cashing out, you'll be making millions. Sorry. Yeah, millions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Zayad, you raise up your hand. You can unmute.
Yeah, Mr. Victor, it's been lovely having you in this session. It's amazing. It's your experience and all your words. Yeah, you standing in the tech world as a form of motivation. Daniel actually posted your CV before the call, and trust me, I couldn't afford to miss this whole session, and it has been amazing. So, from your session,
Zayad, it seems you are out. Like, can't hear you.
I think this is the 3 minutes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
So I think these are the three main things being highlighted. But there is something I also want to say. I always tell people, especially my guys in tech, that you can always have an idea. You understand? Instead of you to develop on that idea, look for a similar idea and add more features that you have into that similar idea. In other words, it's me telling you that there is always room for improvement in every technology that there is. In as long as there are technologies, there are flaws in that technology. There are always room for you to add more features, add more ideas, and make it useful to people and the whole world in general. That was one. Two, it's so crazy how people are actually going into data sciences and ML right now. Most of the people you see are going into ML and data sciences now. So it's that place is totally crowded up. Like what Mr. Victor said, it will actually be cool to go into hardware technologies like digital electronics. Aside that, I'm a physics electronics student. I'm studying electronics. So digital electronics, it's like a kind of tech area now that most people are not so crowded in. So if you actually take your time to learn IoT and microprocessors, know more about them, you could actually start up a very good tech company from there and you are good to go. Like he said, forecasting in the years to come. You understand? So digital electronics right now, it's a very suitable area of tech that I actually advise people to go in. Then, Daniel, you're actually talking about controlling the information you share online. Definitely, I agree with you on every time because one thing that human beings like to destroy other human beings, it's things that they have actually posted online. One thing I've actually learned from cybersecurity is there is no information which you put online that will disappear. Even though you delete it, no information will disappear. In as long as you mistakenly hit that post button, tweet button, or anything, and it's already there, that information is meant to be there. Even when you delete it, you can only see it has been deleted from the surface web, like we all know, the surface web. But when you go down deep into other types of websites, you understand? It's always there in the dark web and deep web, all the information being deleted. So it's very, very important for you.
Okay, Zayad, you know we are running out of time. If
So
you
thank you
do you
very much
still
for
have,
the
yeah,
thank you very much
all
for the
right, all
love.
right.
It's been a great time with you guys.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Abdul Kader Bayero, you have a question. So please, the stage is yours.
Okay, okay, Mr. Victor, thank you for this wonderful session you just gave us. I want to ask, what is your take on the web development that is like the industry right now? Do you think because you talked about the next few years what is going to be in demand, and I'm thinking, okay, what of the web industry, and then let's say, okay, what is your take on the web industry, and also let's say something like embedded system engineering, for instance, which is also like, okay, a software there are software engineers that are good in embedded system engineering, and then you have web. So what is your take on that?
Okay, so I'll start with this. So I have a talent company here in Nigeria, and I fired everybody last year. So the reason why I fired everybody last year was I posed the question. I was like, okay, I want everyone to learn a particular new stack, and they thought I was joking about it. And yes, I did. I made that stuff, and then I had two people this year, and I'm going to still tell them to learn that stack too. So what were those stacks? All right. So web development has grown beyond what we are using now. And a lot of people don't know that. because people are still just entering the market, right? Now, I mentioned some stacks. I think maybe you've just heard about A-Frame. Now, A-Frame is a web-based infrastructure that allows you to run metaverse on the web. Now, the web is getting more powerful and more powerful. That we're trying to see how do you run a particular software without you downloading it on your computer? Well, how can we use Chrome to get full access to your RAM and ROM, right? So I feel that you need to look at software and technologies that allow you to totally utilize your web browser and to an extent have access to the power that the computer has. Now, some softwares that give you ability to do that is Babylon JS and A-Frame. Babylon JS and A-Frame is a web-based WebGL. Basically, all these ones are just terminologies in Metaverse. So basically, your site, it just enables your website to run it allows you to run 3D models on your site instead of you building it on uh, instead of you building it on Unity or Unreal on the other languages. It allows you to build it on your web. So you need to find tools and softwares that allow you to improve your web applications. That's the only way that you keep staying sustainable. Because as it keeps going, I strongly believe that web-based solutions have paused, but innovation, but then when everybody come back there, it's going to be a dynamic leap. And most times, most innovation comes. I think yeah, my Twitter DM should open. Yeah, it's open. It's open. Yeah. So, and then if you notice, most of the innovation that happens on the web space for languages that everyone uses comes from all the big tech companies because they've been using it in-house for a period of time. During my time in Google, we used a different language. I won't disclose that, but I just want you to understand that new web languages will come in the next few years again. You just need to know that reality. So basically, what you need to do is that look for languages that exist in the current framework that allows you to improve on your web apps itself. I'm sorry, but that's the best I can tell you at the moment. I don't know what the future holds for web-based applications, but web-based applications, the problem with web-based applications is limited to the client's desire, right? So if your client not tell you, me go create, okay, let me tell you one funny stuff. So one of my staffs posted something on WhatsApp. He was like, my clients say, I want a mirror for my website. Yeah, it was funny. And they come say, how is that possible? I was like, it's possible now. All you just do is that you make the web app has the ability to detect your web camera, and la, you have a camera, you have a mirror on your website. Now, I looked at it, I didn't take it as a joke. I took it as a challenge and to look at how it does. I think I just spoiled the joke. But it was a joke to say, I'm more people, they ask for crazy stuff for website. But now, it's only crazy until you look for a solution on doing it. And then if I didn't tell you a solution to actually make this possible, would have left it as a joke. And if you didn't get the solution, it's basically making the web request access to your camera, and then the feed from your camera shows on a place that looks like a mirror. That's the solution. So as simple as that, a lot of people will not be able to solve that, right? So you need to look at how can I improve my website? How can I improve my web with the current technology that's existing? And what technology gives me more assets and more power to move forward? As someone said, web and PWA, web progressive app. Yes, it's an amazing tool. It's an amazing language. Is it language or a tool? I don't know. Because if a friend of mine sends me, anyway, there's also another solution that allows your app, your website to become an app. But it's not an app, but it acts and reacts as an app, which is amazing. So again, websites, web apps or the web framework is beyond what is currently accessed by all of us on this call right now. There's still more, and it's being improved. So for you to detect which one you want, look at the one that gives you more access and more visibility for you to innovate and improve on existing solution and gives you more access to power, the RAM and the ROM, because the RAM and the ROM is the more access you have. The only plus that install apps and install softwares on your computer have against web apps are access to your RAM and ROM. Does that make sense? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. So we have some questions here too for you. Let me just read it out. Uh, Okay. It says, I'm hearing myself. Okay. It says, how do you balance the need for technical expertise with the importance of human-centered design in your work as a software developer and an entrepreneur? Like in the sense that most times you're always caught up in the technical things that you feel like, okay, this maybe what you are developing, you are just all about the technical part, all about, oh, this is wonderful. This app can actually see, let's say, this is just like a joke. This app can actually see a ghost walking, and you're all about that. But so it's the question now is, how do you balance the need for that technical expertise with the importance of human-centered design when you're having that human-centered design, just like you presented in your slide. So how do you balance both as a software developer and an entrepreneur? Because I feel like a software developer and entrepreneur are kind of like two different things, something like that. So yeah, you can.
Yeah.
That's the question.
Okay. Yeah, I just noticed. I think one of my staffs is here. Huh. I think I'll DM him. All right. Okay. So, I think he has been sending me a message, asking me to do something. It's a funny person. Anyway, so this is it. God has blessed me that I've been a businessman, I've been an entrepreneur, and I've been a software engineer, and it gives me a different approach to how I view things. Now, if you're only a software engineer, it's going to be the most difficult and most annoying thing possible. My co-founder can testify that I hate being in board meetings. I hate having conversations and meeting with people. Why? I'm bored. I get bored so easily because why do I get? Because I have him to do that. So I don't need to do that. And this guy will call me like 2 a.m. in the morning and like every time I'm confused about something, then I have to explain it to him. I'm the technical founder, but then because I have someone else to let go of that issue, I let go of that issue. But now let's say I don't have someone like that. What I do is, okay, I'm going to give three different scenarios. Scenario number one, you need to wake up. You're no more, if you're the founder or you're the owner of the product or whatever, you need to, okay, all of us are adults. I had this conversation with some youths some days back, and I told them that it's high time for you guys to wake up and stop being kids. It's high time for you to wake up and stop being children. It's time for you to start being adults. People say the reason why Salah is not fun anymore or why Christmas is not fun anymore is because our parents made it fun. Now we're adults, we're the ones supposed to make it fun for the next generation. But because now we're waiting for some magical person to do it for us, no one is going to do it for it. All of you that are staying alone knows that if you don't clean up your house and your bed and you go out and come back, it's going to be the same way. What does that make in this? So as a software engineer, there are certain things as a solo software engineer building your own company or your product, you need to understand that, guy, you need to absorb this entrepreneurial side of things, or you find somebody that will do it for you. Now, if you can't find someone that is going to do it for you, you need to create something called timetable. Creating a timetable, I sleep when I want to sleep and I wake up when I want to wake up. I've come to understand this, that if I work from today to tomorrow, or I work for the next 5 days, work no go finish. That's the reality. So I need to understand that I can sit down and rest and not feel guilty for it. Back to the timetable. So I put days that I need to code, solely coding, and I put days that I need to do solely meetings. I put days that I need to do solely watching of films. I put days that I need to do solely meeting people. And mind you, when am me meeting you and just with you is me working, because I take that as work, as in I'm building a relationship with you, I'm maintaining my relationship. So merging the technical side and the business side, you need to understand empathy. If you don't understand empathy, try and find someone that can explain empathy to you or have communication with them. Be as stupid, as dumb as possible. You get the feedback. Go to ladies. Ladies love guys that don't know their left from their right, and they will make it known to you, and they'll give you the idea. Oh, okay, so this is how you do it, and then you face it. You need to come out from that side. But then, if you're working with a company, that's not your business. All you care about is getting paid. Sorry to say this, but we're in a generation that people don't care about work. They all just care about work. They just care about getting paid and having time with their friends. That's our new generation. Our parents' generation, they care about their work. I was passionate about my work. What? I'm passionate about my family and my friends and traveling around. That's what I'm passionate about. I hate work. That's one side. Now, from a business perspective, the business people here that have done one business, two business, three business, sold some, crash some, will understand that as a first-time business owner, you know that you think you just need to have the perfect product. Second time business owner will tell you don't need a perfect product. A second time an entrepreneur will tell you you just need to enter the market at the perfect time. What happened? Because maybe he had the perfect product, but then he entered the market at the wrong time. So he's like, I thought I entered the market at the perfect time, whether my product is bad or not. I thought the product can solve the problem at the immediate time. I can work on my product over time. A third time owner will tell you don't need that. You just need to have customers. Because whether you have the perfect product or you enter the market the perfect time, if you don't have customers to sell, to buy your goods, your business will be terrible. Then the first stage, then the last stage entrepreneur will tell you that you just need to control your ecosystem. What does that mean? You need to control where you farm the tomatoes, the transportation that moves the tomatoes from the farm to the market, and then infrastructure that sells the tomatoes. What does that mean? If you as a tomato seller and me as a tomato seller, we're not competing in the same level, because what? I farm my tomatoes. I transport my tomatoes from the farm to the market. I sell my tomatoes. I can determine your price of your tomato is determined on how much it was sold, it was bought for in the market, and how much transportation that took it from the farm to the market. But my own definition of how much I want to sell the market is that I might have made my profit already from when we harvested the farm, when we harvested the tomatoes. And then I've made profit. Maybe I have a fleet of, maybe I rented 5 trucks to carry tomatoes, and then I carry other people's tomatoes, and then they paid me. I've already made profit from there again. Then I can sell my tomatoes at 1%, 2%, because what? I own the fucking ecosystem. Anyway, I'm getting too far. So in a nutshell, if you have to look at what position do you fit in this cycle, and then what do you need to do to merge both of them? But to everybody, guys, if you are a business guy and you are entering tech side, you need to absorb what makes a technical founder. If you're a solo founder, you need to wake up. No one is going to do it for you. Apple says that Apple cares about every single detail, because they said if no one does it for them, it's going to stay like that. So they need to take care of every single detail. For those of us married in this call, you tell you that if you don't hold your children strong, the society will raise your children for you. For those of you trying to do courtship, if you don't show this babe, say you like her, or you show this guy you like her, one idiot one side would steal her from you, or one girl from one side will steal him from you. I hope this makes sense. This doesn't answer the question, but this puts you in a position to understand how you solve or how you answer that question. Does that help, or I should still boil down, because I think I went to business?
It helps. I think there is another one that I dropped in the chat box. I think let me read it out. It says, how do you approach team building and collaboration when working on complex software development projects, and what strategies have you found most to be effective?
Okay, so at the moment, I own a company in Canada. I am currently working with a company in New Zealand, and I'm also working with a company in Tanzania, and I'm also working on a company in Malawi. How the fuck do I manage all this stuff? Okay, again, Jesus Christ, I need to rest. I want to sleep. Today is Saturday. How did this meeting finish, sir? Okay, so it's basically timetable. Again, like in the last conversation I said, I understood the need for time, understood the need for meetings. So we did this thing called screen. I can't pronounce it. Sorry, English is not my first language. But basically what it means is, instead of you having meetings all the time, everybody writes a report and sends it. And then you read the report. And then if it's necessary for you to have a meeting, you have a meeting. So instead of us having a meeting on Monday, everyone sends a report to Victor Peter. So the team in New Zealand sent me a report. The team in this country sent me a report. The team in this country sends me a report. All I need to do is delegate tasks, and emphasize on certain tasks. Then we have sprints. There's 2 week sprints, there's 1 week sprint. I've come to understand that 1 week sprint is better than 2 week sprints, with a checkup on Wednesday. So on Friday we do review for that week's sprint. So on Fridays, I have meetings late in the night, meetings in the morning, meetings in the afternoon. On Mondays, I have some meetings. On Wednesdays, I also have meetings. So Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, I have meetings both in call form and in reading form. That way, it allows me. That way, I used to charge money for mentorship. That way, it allows me to. That way, it allows me to understand what is happening here, what's happening here, what's happening here, what's happening here. And mind you, all these products are different markets, different regulation, different use cases, different tool stack. It's my job for me to sit down and understand this full stack. This is our problem. Am I supposed to join them and code and solve this problem? If I need to join them, and then I have a rule. Because you guys are developing, I will not code or solve a problem until you have spent 48 hours billable time before I'll solve the problem. Well, it helps me in a way that you know how mechanic, if you take your car to a mechanic, the guy doesn't come and work. He'll tell the boys to check this, check this, check this. And then when they check, he say, guy, don't work, then he'll come then he'll come and fix it. Actually, what the boys did was that they eliminated all the possible problems. And then since you have removed all the possible problems, the organ now knows that this is the issue at hand. So it allows you as a software developer under me to grow as a software developer because it teaches you how to debug, find solutions, find issues. And then when you have done all that, we can come in and solve the problem together. We'll find the issue together. To find you the issue together. Sorry, someone sent me a stupid message. To find you the issue together. So in summary, Splint helps for you to manage your development. It gives you accountability on what you need to do. As developers, we hate meetings. Business owners will tell you that big meetings are stupid. So instead of you having meetings on Monday, you have the meeting for the week. You bring out all the variables that you need to do for the week. At the end of this week, you should have done this, done this, done this. On Wednesday, you send a report. Okay, this is what we're able to achieve. This is what you're able to achieve. This is what you're able to achieve. This is what you're able to achieve. Then on Friday, we either have a live meeting or you do a push to GitHub, or if it's the business side of things, you send a report on what you have done. If I read it and it doesn't make sense, I call you instantly, explain what the fuck did I just say. So that way, it allows me to have a collaboration with everybody. It allows my team to grow together with me. And then guess what? Because we're documenting everything, someone that comes on board can actually see documentation of what has been done. And mind you, I hate documentation. But this has forced everybody to learn documentation because it becomes very easy to onboard a new staff to the company, a new software engineer to the company, or a new business from the business team to the company itself. I think that should answer that question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Actually, we are supposed to end by 12:30, but
oh no, don't worry. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Actually, after this call, I want to play Nintendo Switch. I want to play this Legend of Zelda. I've been playing it. Okay, I've seen the last question. Let me answer that question. So, learn that does not involve coding. I would say product management, or a product manager. But the issue with that is that if you don't have experience for years, it's going to cause you a problem. So what I would advise is that even you're going to become a product manager, join a lot of hubs, join startups and tell them you do for them you be a product manager for them for free. That way it gives you experience and it improves your CV. So when you start applying for big roles, big companies that need product managers, it would actually help you. Or you can go for design. UI, UX, they're making money now. They're actually arguably starting to be getting paid like software engineers, but their job is once in a while because after they have done the design, everybody forgets them. So also learning UI, UX is also good. It's non-coding, but it's more design. But UI, UX doesn't really have to do with design that much, like graphic design. It's more of squares, colors, linking, blah, 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 blah. I think that answers it. Move the blah, blah, blah from the answer.
All right. Thank you very much. I think we'll just end it here. It has been an amazing session so far, and we are really glad to have the session with you. Personally, I've learned quite a lot, and though I was actually waiting for some people to start asking questions on how do they get into Snapchat or Google and stuff like that. But it seems like most people don't want to make money, or how do they start up their own companies and stuff like that. But maybe that would be a next time thing because time is actually fast spent. So but okay, you can tell us. No, I'm not the one asking the question. Now you guys did not ask the question, so it's like you people don't want money. All right. Okay.
So
Or do you want to go ahead with that?
yeah,
So we
let me
just
just answer
round
the
up.
question.
Okay. All right.
So Snapchat hires once in a while, but it's easier for you to get into Snapchat via recommendation. So I don't know how to explain that, but their exams are crazy. But it's easier for you to get into Google than Snapchat. It's harder for you to get into Snapchat, sorry, to Google from Nigeria. So instead, I recommend you looking at all their job. Look for people that work with Google, reach out to them, look at what they are doing, and contribute an interview approach with Facebook for their metaverse team. But thank God I did not go for the job because they fired everybody there. So. But the point I'm trying to make is that from Nigeria is very difficult because you're in Nigeria. Nigeria causes that. Guess what? In you know that Netflix, you know that if you for those of us that use Netflix, you know when they categorize movies, there are people they pay. Your job is to sit down on Netflix and watch a movie and do some key points to know what category the movie falls into, and they pay you for that. So imagine watching Netflix
Wow.
and getting paid for it, but it's not available for Nigerians. Then there's also classification. There are a lot of job posts from these companies that are not available for Nigerians. And then you need to understand the arm of Facebook, of Google. Like, okay, like the developer cycle is not connected to the development team of Google. It's under the entrepreneur, the, uh, it's not foundation, but you know that there are social support, something program. So it's affiliated to that side. So your job to join any of this company is to find a way to get closer to anybody that's actively connected to the main company, not outsource company, the main company itself. And the best way to get their attention is to Google some of these people working there, check Twitter profiles, see what they're working on, because a lot of them do outsourcing work. And then don't DM them that you want to work on Google, no one will give you an answer. Get involved in something they are doing. They'll eventually they'll eventually see you and you guys will start communicating and you say, how far? This your Google self. How person go join? And it's like, oh, I can talk to my product manager if they're hiring or they're hiring because there's some hiring that is per recommendation. Most hiring is per recommendation. Then I'm starting a company or getting a job. I think for me, like my best place to get jobs are Angel List, LinkedIn work. But most of my jobs comes from referral. If you do a very good job for an international client, they recommend you to somebody else. Then I hear a lot of people make money from Upwork, but Upwork is too difficult to get job on now because there's a lot of people there. So Angel List and LinkedIn job is the best place. Or go on Facebook, go on LinkedIn, go on Twitter and start talking about what you're doing. People approach you. Tech companies that teach tech will approach you to become a teacher. I've seen a lot of people that have gotten jobs from that way. Some companies, somebody that works in this company heard that they're hiring. So, oh, there's somebody I see that talks about React or talk about this or talk about this. I think you'll be good for the role. That is 100-way guarantee of you getting job. All the people that I know that have done that have gotten job offers. Even the person that I hired to manage the company in Malawi got a job offer from one of the universities to manage a department, and the person is just 24 to manage a department. And so their research department, not their research institute. It's just like ABU Research Institute. That is not. It's not. It's part of ABU. It's under ABU, but it's not. It's non-lecturing. It's non-academic. It's more of research because nobody in the country can do it better than this girl. And how did they don't know? Because this girl talks about her growth on social media. So that's one way for you to use your own social media. That's the guaranteed way to get a job. I don't know how to emphasize on that. Yeah. Next question.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So, someone you mentioned something like where you can get the job before. There was one you mentioned, ask something before LinkedIn. I don't know, we couldn't
No,
get that quite well.
Angel
Hello,
is
Angel Race.
Liz.
Okay,
Angel.
is this? Okay, all right. Okay. So the final question before you go, sir, is how did you start your first company? What were the challenges? How did you go about it? Because I feel like that is, most
Mado.
techies now, most developers now want to, like they have a very great idea
Below.
and they want to start up. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to be like this guy. What's his name? I wanted to be like Mark Zuckerberg because I heard the guy has money. So sorry. So everybody wanted to build their own social media, but then I found out it's not possible. So I said, okay, what was the closest thing I could do? The closest thing I could do was to create a CRM. That was before Salesforce. So basically, a CRM is just it's for customers. You can manage your customers and all that. So when I built it, it was fun. Then yeah, it's now called Well Found. Yeah, that's true. And then I think that was 15. Then I met. That's when Facebook groups just came out. So I posted the link on Facebook. We got clients from India that started using our platform. So they used the platform for 2 years, and then they got bought by a UK company, which wanted the product, which was my product, and then they bought the product from me. So that's how I made my first millions. Hi there. But for me, basically, the road was that I looked for a solution. I looked for a problem by mistake. I found a problem by mistake. I built a solution around it, find customers. And the way I found customers was that I was posting my link on social media. Then there was no Twitter then. LinkedIn was just starting. It was on Facebook. It was just Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. No, Instagram was not existing there too. Yeah, so it's just Facebook that was existing. Facebook and some small ones there. So I think that's not detailed enough, and that will not help in this scenario. So let me use a different company. So after a while, I built another company. So the steps for you to build a company is really simple and easy. These are simple ways for you to do that. I recommend people to register. The reason for you to register, it just makes you look more serious in the eyes of customers. Some people decide that, okay, I want to register the company before I won't register the company until I get a customer. Again, no customer, nobody will take you serious. Then again, there are some people that they will not do business with you. They'll check the registration date of your company. I mean, you say your company has been existing for 5 years, but your registration shows last year or last 2 months. Okay, your company has just been existing for 2 months. So that will cause problem. So if you register your company, you can start with a business name and upgrade later to LTD. I mean, it's 70 something thousand. I'm going to register the LTD, that's a limited liability company. Register it. Now it's easy for you to register it in Nigeria. When you're done with that, you pick a product. It's easy for you to pick a product. People overthink that, oh, I want to build a product and make a lot of money. 10,000 naira a month is decent money for somebody. If you're a student, you can survive with 10,000 naira a month. You don't need to live a fancy life. Live in the future, don't live in the present. You just need to make a product that you can charge people maybe 100 naira, 500, 1,000 naira per month for the product. What can students pay for? You have to think about that. Why I'm using students because that's your environment. What solutions can you solve for students right now? I think one of the solutions I can solve for students right now is accommodation. I know a few people have built accommodation solutions in ABU, but none of them have kicked off. So why don't you just look at it? What approach can you use again for this? I found out that the problem that, because I did a little bit of research into it, I found out that most of the people that build the product got funding and forgot about the product, or they refused to go and meet with agents. So what I would advise you is that pay some people 20,000 naira. Your job is to call agent and say you're looking for a house. When you find a house too, you go and find the landlord and say, okay, can I get out the Allah? We have a platform, we want to put it on top. Create your own database. Don't depend on the current agents because agents will not give you their database. They make 1,000 from every time a student say they're looking for a house. Whether you get the house or don't get the house, make 1,000 naira. So that's one approach. Or you can do, oh yeah, this has not been existing. It does not exist. You can make it exist. Subletting. People in their 400 level or is it 300 level that go for IT can sublet their house for 1 year. So for 300 level, since your houses, they are paid rent for the year and nobody's there, instead of your guys squatting, find somebody in 100 level to come and stay in your house for 1 year and he pays your rent. You have already paid the rent. You pay the other rent. Or maybe when you are going on holiday, you can sublet your house for 2 months. Somebody else. I mean, I don't know how that would work, but all I'm just saying is this: you need to look at your environment first. What problem is the problem? Will someone pay for your problem? If nobody's going to pay for your problem, okay, two things are involved. If I drop that problem or find a way they will pay for it. Let me give you an example. Nobody pays for search up to today. So how does Google make money from searches? They make it from advertisement. And then the advertisement, they wanted to make it in a cool way. Google advertisement is text, so it's just text. It's not picture, nothing. It's HTML text of come to this link, this guy is this, and then EU Vest forced them to put ad. Before there was no ad, they put it in the first three. So everybody knew that after a while, everyone knew that the first three search was ad until the EU forced them to put ad, like make it put a different color so people know that this one is advertisement. That's how they pay, that's how they made people to pay for ads. That's how they started making money from search. So if you have a solution, the next question is that will people pay for this solution? If nobody's going to pay for this solution, how do you make people pay for this solution? Then there's another something I spoke with some team of people in real estate. I told them the problem with real estate in Nigeria is not like we don't have the best, it's not like we don't have purchasing power, is that the real estate is overpriced. It's not affordable. I agree that your product is expensive. Okay, make it as expensive as you want, but make it affordable. What does that mean is that if I'm going to sell you my car for 1 billion naira, I can say that your 3 generation is going to pay for it. So I'll give you a car of 1 billion, but you go to pay 1,000 naira every year. Your first generation will pay 1,000 naira. Your third generation will pay 1,000. The contract says that every generation must carry belle, carry pikin. So what? They are collected. Did I make the product free? I made the product affordable. You have the car, but your next 3 generation will pay 1,000 naira until that car is being paid off. I know this is a joke, but if you look at it from a business point of view, I've made the product affordable and I've made it in a way that you guys can pay for it. So these are ways for you to make your product. That's a way for you to monetize your product, because in Nigeria, nobody will pay for you. No one will give you money for your idea. And even those people that will give you money for idea, the terms and conditions, you hate it. Don't get carried away that companies are getting funding. We've got YC. We got into YC. We refused it because of certain issues. There's some certain terms and conditions we didn't like. Nigerians, we not care. Give us money. Let's just bust your head. The people that founded Jumia, none of them exist in Jumia because I've kicked them out because of their terms and conditions. So I'm getting carried away. Back to the product. Build a product. Make a product that people will pay for it. You're not doing hobby. If not, you're building a hobby. And as the business person, I will not tell you to waste your money on building a hobby. So if no one is going to pay for the product, what can you do what can you make? How can you build people to pay for the product yourself? So after that, you keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. Carry that data, go and apply for an accelerator, go and apply for a VC, and they'll pay you. Guess what? When you apply for a VC or an accelerator with cash flow, with users, you control the time sheet. It's easier for you to tell them, okay, we have over 5,000 people. Okay, these 5,000 people are paying us 2,000 naira per month. We know it's useless, but Kai, imagine this. If you give us 1 million now, we expand from ABU, Munje, BUK, Munje, Kasina, Munje, Sokoto, Munje, Munje, Haba. It's going to bust. So this is why we need your money. So now you're not asking for money to sustain the business. You're asking for money to expand the business. Every investor will invest in business because what? The business is already profitable. You just need more money for what? Scale. So that's the best way. I mean, that's the approach I've used for all my businesses, and I think I'm not broke. So we thank God.
Wow. Thank you very, very, very much, sir. Time is actually fast spent. That was really, really amazing, like really, really insightful. I think I've gotten so much written there already. I've also realized that I need to rent out my apartment as I'm going for IT too, so I can make more money. So, well, it's actually amazing. And there was one point where you said, you're saying something about like one person in Malawi, 24 years old, and sometimes I used to ask because actually I was also in Malawi, and I found a friend of mine, a Malawian as well, who was heading a department. He was a junior lecturer, and this guy is just around 22, and I'm wondering that why is it not so in Nigeria? But it's just so amusing. But I feel like there is just so much that yes, there are a lot of opportunities.
What carried you to Malawi? When did you go to Malawi?
Yeah?
What carried you to Malawi? When did you go to Malawi?
It was a training. It was a training by UNICEF on drones, basically drones and data.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So basically, the reason
so
why that is the reason why is that it's in Malawi is because the educated people, they are underskilled or understaffed. So people from 1920 to 2022 are more skilled than people that are in their 30s, 40s. And because they have foreign aids coming in, they need people that are talented and skilled. So they don't care about the age anymore. They just want your talent. That's why.
wow. Very, very, very true. So thank you very much, sir. I think if we continue, we'll not end. So thank you very much. This session has been so amazing, so amazing. So we are coming to an end, and we are actually like this. We are wrapping up already. So thank you all, everyone, for joining. Please let's give a round of applause for Sir Victor Peter. Like he has given out value. He has dished out value. Please clap, just clap at least in the DM, in the emoji, whatever. Let them feel. At least let's appreciate him. Thank you very much, sir. We really, really appreciate your time. And see this local man clapping with well, thank you very much, sir. We really, really appreciate. So that is all. 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 So thank you very much, guys, for joining. Do have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Wonderful time or wonderful day ahead. And we see you in the next session that we host. So we hope to have more of these and do have a lovely, lovely day ahead. Thank you, guys.
I know. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye, sir.
Ìwọ ló pọ̀jù, àpọ̀jù, ọ̀pọ̀, àmàmọ́ lọ́pọ̀gàn, kò sí lọ́pọ̀jù. Tẹ̀sán wọn náà tún pọ̀lọpọ̀lọ̀, èèyàn kò gba gidi ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀. Òun dàkúnjẹ́ ń sinmi ṣe mí jọ́lọ̀, tèmi yàtọ̀ sáwọn nǹkan kàmí sọ́tọ̀, ọjọ́bọ̀jọ́bọ̀, ẹgbàá lọ́gọ̀lọ́gọ̀ tó bọ̀. Just feel good. It's done just Just for the record. Just for the record. If they like me, they chop at the tomato, then you go ketchup. Oh, yeah, come back now. I so blame them all. You go do you one time, I go for one time, I'm to my mess up. Anything you wish me, that be a passion. Bad man no they walk up, man no be God up. Make them they talk up, as we they fly like helicopter. Now by the grace of God and inshallah we they move up. Question, but then look at the answer. Question, but then look at the answer. Question, but then look at the answer. Question. Then look at the answer. Bossa, me they do. Never sing a salad when you they move. See green light when I look at you. Last time I take a picture with you. Now my cassava way you they look. Do I say I know see you wait you do. See when we go get it wild like you they do. Cut to one you can slow. Anything you wish me, that be a passion. Bad man no they walk up. Man no be God. Make them they talk, that's what they fly like helicopter. Now by the grace of God and inshallah we they move up. Question, but then look at the answer. 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 Question. Then look at the answer. Question, but then look at the answer. Question, but then look at the answer. Question, but then look at the answer. Just for the record. like me, then chop of the tomato, then no go ketchup.
More music on trendybeats.com.